Okay, this time around I have a Ace Tanker replay featuring my T28 prototype on Malinovka. I find myself in a Tier 9 battle. Right now, what I'm doing is surveying the two team lists. I want to see exactly how many heavies each team has, and in this case we have the advantage. I tend to play the T28 prototype in one of two ways. Typical tank destroyer if our team has lots of heavies and their team does not, or I will actually put it into the role of a heavy if my team is light in that regard. I decide I'm going to start working towards the hill, and if you notice I'm already setting my turret to the side where the enemies are, and I will always throw a blind shot over there in that direction because it's just one shell. I've got plenty of them to spare, and you never know when you might just get a lucky hit. As long as it's not going to get me spotted, I'll do it every time. The thing to note is the battle already sometimes can be active before you're in position. I had wanted to get up to the rock halfway up on the hill, halfway up to the hill, and then support our hill push from there. But enemies have already been spotted in the middle and actually already at the south edge of our base, so I decided to stop that idea and get some shots in on these targets. As you see me place a hit right into the side of that pattern. With the T28 prototype slow speed, you have to plan your moves well ahead. And with enemies already starting to spot our teammates at this point, I did not want to take the risk of slowly crawling my way up through the open in the prototype. Front armor is very, very good for a Tier 8. One of the best frontal armor profiles there is in the tier, but the side armor is terrible. And it's a fairly big target, so you see me stop here, get behind the bush, because I made the call that I did not want to expose myself while moving along at less than 10 out in the open, because everybody could have no problems penetrating me. There's a wild shot, trying to get another hit into the turret of the Patton. I keep checking my side because we have the Centurion who's pushed down to the edge of our base. See me panning over that direction. I'm also keeping my eye towards the middle here. We've got lights and mediums from the enemy team already farther ahead than normal. They're already putting pressure on us from basically all directions. My team has not had good luck in establishing any sort of control of the flanks. Just at this point, I spot the AMX making a dash down along the water's edge, and the WZ on a spotting run here. Try to put a hit into him, but I do believe that shot went between his tracks and hit the ground. Now there's the AMX 30. I've got him sighted, but I pulled back before firing. I did that so I wouldn't be spotted while firing. You can see the bush while it zoomed out or zoomed in to sniper mode. It will provide camouflage. As you can see, I have taken multiple shots without being spotted. But now I'm seeing through the bush, so I pull back again. And again, I was able to fire without being detected. And again, they're pushing up, pushing up on the flank. Finally, our team has control of the hill. But again, we're dealing with lights everywhere. Mediums. I'm still trying to get shots on these pesky light tanks. There I made the mistake of firing without pulling back from the bush, and I get spotted, and the Centurion gets a hit into me. I'm trying to stay hull down and avoid showing too much of the vehicles, as the sides, like I had said, are weak. Now I spot the Tiger 2, and his tracks actually eat the shot. Get an angle for the shot of the Centurion and kill him with a blind hit. Now the Tiger 2 is actually facing me and his lower plate's exposed, which is an easy hit for the 120mm gun on the prototype. From a hold down position like this, this is a very, very advantageous situation to be in. Knock out the T69 there. I'll hold down and able to keep the enemies at least in front of you. I drop down to get artillery safe, but as I was saying, if you can keep the enemies in front of you, if you have 200mm of frontal armor that's angled and a tough turret from the front, that is very strong in Tier 8. Even if this is a Tier 9 battle, most of my targets so far, other than the AMX-30, most of the targets have all been Tier 8s. They will struggle with the front of the prototype. The sides, they basically don't even have armor, but the front and the front of the turret are very good as far as protection. So hold down, or at least keep the front to whoever you expect to be shooting at you. You'll see more of that later in the replay. Right. Taking on a couple enemies, but keep the front to the enemies, stay hold down, and the prototype's very strong. That's one of its strengths. It has a very good gun, very strong front armor. Here you see as I'm trying to be a little flexible, you're seeing the weakness of it. It is slow. And out in the open, it's also enemy artillery could at any point decide to either take a huge chunk of my health or possibly one-shot me. Tier 7 and up artillery can one-shot the T28 prototype if it's a direct hit on the engine deck. I actually get pretty lucky with that snapshot on the Bulldog there. He only had just the front quarter of his tank poking out and he was reversing. I didn't even let it aim or zoom in. That was just more luck than anything. I am spotted. So I used the dead Japanese heavy as cover. Still looking. I'm half expecting at this point the Skoda will reposition and push the middle. See, actually, premium engaging with our E50. At this point, we're actually up, and it looks pretty good. I'm trying to get a shot in. It sails high and to the right. And our E50 has overextended to where he's in trouble at this point. Just trying to be mindful of getting into cover. But at the same time, I wanted to help my teammate there. Unfortunately, he goes down. So now I am actually the furthest forward, and I will not outspot the mutts. So I decide to reverse into cover here. Again, I'm keeping my front. You see I even lock my turret in. Keep all my strong armor to where I know the enemies are positioned. And I back in to get artillery safe, and just like I thought, I'm not spotting them, but they're able to spot me. They have concealment in between me and them, whereas I was out in the open. Now, neither of the tanks on that flank, the Mutts or the T32, unless they're firing premium, they're not going to have a whole lot of chance of penetrating the front of the T28. So I can hold this position very well. I do have help coming in the form of the T44. As you see in chat, request help, and I click affirmative. I'm actually expecting him to have a fairly easy job taking out the Mutts with the amount of health that the T44 has compared to the Mutts being a one-shot kill. But somehow he takes hit after hit here. He gets caught out in the open. The T32 is obviously, who's unspotted at this point, is obviously covering the Mutts. and it has clear shots. And the T-32 finally gets spotted back there. I try to line up a shot. Looking for it. It sails through. At that point, I hadn't realized it until I watched the replay. I was lining up the shot actually through the window of that building there. So that shot actually sailed from all the way back at the windmill there through the building and hit the T-32 on the other side of the map. That was a bit crucial later because he had gotten tracked and used his repair. The Amel had dove in and taken out two enemies who's now that performance just put us up ahead again. Unfortunately, now I do believe he is on reload and gets taken down because he dove in. The problem is, have more enemies have potential damage in your clip. You should not dive into where you cannot bail out. He made that mistake there. Did a good job of bringing the scores back, but he sacrificed his vehicle to do it. This should be an easy finish here, but something I did not realize is our artillery has went AFK. I did not know that yet at this point. I'm fully expecting at any minute for the artillery to either focus on the mutts or to nail the T-32. So I'm just kind of proxy spotting the mutts, figuring that I'll see a splash anytime it'll blow up, or the T-32. So I'm just looking at the ridge there. When I don't see anything happen, I figure I better just push over. And while the T-32's on reload, I push over and kill the mutts. Second shot comes in from the T-32, all bouncing off my armor. I'm still at this point expecting an artillery shot. Why I back down, and I'm trying to keep him spotted, so I keep my turret poked up. See, went dark and then spotted again. I'm keeping my hull out of sight. That's why I'm swinging around so far from the edge. Deciding that I'm just going to swing wide to where he doesn't have shots on my hull. Then turn back around and work my way towards him. Just I have APCR loaded and ready, as if it's, at this point I'm questioning whether the artillery is even there. This is one-on-one. First shot of APCR goes into him and tracks him. He had already used his repair kit earlier, but his crew obviously had repair skills. I track him again though. And even if the shot first got eaten, the third one came in, tracked him. And now you see I've got Ace Tanker, I've got Bruiser, Shell-Proof, Fire for Effect, Fighter, my second Mark Excellence earned with 3,465 damage, 1,217 base experience, 5 kills. Then you'll see my accuracy was not great. The 120mm gun does tend to throw shots out, and I don't mind personally. I'll take blind shots routinely. But that is the T28 Prototype Ace Tanker. Just want to say thanks for watching. You can feel free to comment in the section below, like and subscribe if you choose to, and be on the lookout for more videos to come. Thanks.